What's going on? Welcome to the Score Fantasy Basketball Podcast. I'm Waiver Wire Queen. Today I want to talk about some more players you should consider adding for Week 20 via the waiver wire. Also, check out my previous episode where I talk about 9 to 10 players you should definitely add for Week 20. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And also, if you enjoy listening to the podcast, we are available on Spotify, Apple, Google. We are out here in these fantasy basketball streets. Let's jump right into it. Week 19 is definitely turning out to be a close one for me. How are you guys doing week 19? Are you guys trying to make that final push in order to make it to the postseason? Well, a lot of these players on this list and also in the previous episode will be able to help you push yourself and hopefully get you to the playoffs. Let's talk about a rising young player who I have some high hopes for in Dynasty. That is Jonathan Kuminga. That is right. He has been playing his tail off. He's been given the opportunity. And with the opportunity, he is definitely showing up and showing out. You already know Draymond Green has been out since prior to the All-Star break, and he is still a ways away. When I think of Draymond, he's obviously a triple-double threat. I was going to recommend him as one of the players to target in a buy low situation since the trade deadline is coming up. But Draymond might not even be available for you in the playoffs, which makes Kuminga's value increase, which is why I'm talking about him a bit more. I talked about him in the previous episode. He's definitely a good player to add when Draymond is out and when Clay and some of the other guys are resting. However, Draymond is still out. Now, tonight, Moses Moody is starting. So, both of these two young players have a lot of talent, but Kuminga has pretty much worked his way into the rotation, and he is definitely a young player on the rise and a player you definitely should consider adding. He has value as long as Draymond Green is out. If Draymond Green doesn't make it back for the playoffs, then Kuminga definitely has some value in fantasy basketball playoffs. He's rostered in 31% of Yahoo leagues. And also keep in mind, all of the stats is for Yahoo and Sleeper. So when I talk about Dynasty, I'm talking about using the Sleeper app for your fantasy basketball Dynasty league. When I'm talking about the redraft, then I'm definitely talking about Yahoo. But again, with Kuminga, Draymond is out. No telling when he is going to return. For the season, he's averaging 8.1 points per game, 2.9 rebounds, shooting over 50% from the field. 3-point percentage is not that great. So if you're looking for him to light it up from threes, you got a better chance of Waiver Wire Queen doing that for you. And I'll let you know I can shoot. But nonetheless, he's only shooting a little bit over 32% from threes, which isn't good. So we're not checking for him in that capacity. And he only shoots 67% from free throws. But again, with Kuminga, the young man has a lot of potential. He's very talented, and he's definitely a player that I added in my Dynasty League because I believe he is the future of the Warriors, okay? Right now, it's still Clay, Steph, and Draymond. At some point, the keys will be handed over to Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman, with Kuminga leading the way. Over the last 2 weeks, he's averaged 13 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 1.3 block, and a steal. With Kuminga, he's going to score the ball and rebound the ball. You may see some nights where he may have 7 rebounds. There's some nights where it may be 4. One thing, he will definitely be active, so he won't just give you some points in the scoring aspect. He will rebound the ball, and he plays solid defense for a young player. Let's take a closer look at some of his stats. As you can see, against Portland, 17 points, 8 rebounds. And again, when you look at his stats, you see some games 17, and you see 10. It's a bit inconsistent, but he is still able to produce and help your team in fantasy basketball. Again, I don't see him as a long-term solution, especially in a redraft league. But right now, short term, until Draymond returns, this young man has a lot of value. And then when Clay is out and say Wiggins, when they're resting some of their players down the stretch, Kuminga and Moody should have some value, with Kuminga getting the nod, in my opinion, because he's proven that he's capable of being one of those players that you can rely on. And again, his salary isn't high. So I used him the other night during Portland. And guess what? He got me over almost 30, a little over 30 fantasy points. So I was very pleased with that. And you also got to realize his salary wasn't high at all. So I'm like, damn, I got some great value over here with Kuminga. So again, you got to look at situations like that to where he may be able to help you in that capacity. He may not, every night get you over 30 fantasy points. But if his salary is low in DFS and he's able to come out there and get you over 30 fantasy points, then you definitely have gotten a steal for what his salary is. A little over 5,000, and he's getting me over 30 fantasy points. That is great in DFS. And again, in a redraft league, he has short-term value right now, especially as long as Draymond is out. And then if Wiggins was to miss some time. So again, down the stretch, you got to look and check for him too when they are resting their players, because we already know they're going to make the damn playoffs, okay? Now it's all about, do they want to try to push and see if they can surpass the Suns for the first seed? I don't think they'll be able to unless the Suns go on a terrible stretch. With Chris Paul out, anything is possible out here in the NBA. But nonetheless, Kuminga is definitely a player that I'm very high on short-term in redraft. And again, I expressed how I am super high on him long-term in a dynasty league. So if you're in a fantasy basketball dynasty league or you're considering joining one, then know that a young player like Jonathan Kuminga has some value, definitely long-term in a fantasy basketball dynasty league. Let's talk about Cam Johnson. So to my surprise, with the Suns, with Chris Paul going to be out for at least 6 to 8 weeks, I was thinking, okay, I think most of us were thinking they were going to either insert Holiday in the starting lineup or maybe give Peyton the opportunity since he's the veteran. He was already on the team. Hell to the no, they did not, y'all. They just said, Booker, we're going to slide you to the point. We're going to put Cam Johnson in the starting lineup, which to me is obviously better. But then again, you still have to make up for that production because you figure Chris Paul is out. So Booker's taking over the point guard duties. And then you got Cam Johnson, who's moving from the bench role to a starter. So you got to replace some of that production coming off the bench. And so you're like, well, is it going to be Peyton or is it going to be Holiday? Okay, so far, Peyton didn't even play today. And then with Holiday, he has seen more minutes and played a bit better. So for me, with this situation is if Holiday was to start, I would feel better saying add him. Right now, I'm saying there are better players on waivers that you can pick up who have a more consistent role and is starting. And the guy to add, obviously, I'm talking about is Cam Johnson. He's rostered at 56% of Yahoo leagues, and on a season he's going to get you 20 to 22 fantasy points. He's a really good young player, and I really love what he's been doing all season long. He started showing up and showing out last season, entering and throughout the postseason, and now he has a more consistent role. He is playing more, and so when you play more minutes and you produce, we love that type of production in fantasy. I don't know about you guys, but I love a player who's going to produce for my team and help me win. So with Cam, if you look at some of his stats over the last few games, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 15 points, 1 rebound, 23 points, 4 rebounds. With Cam, what you get with him is a player who is going to score the ball. He's probably going to get you some rebounds, and he's just going to be a very good young player to add. Now, surprising to me, well, it's not a surprise that he shoots good from the field because he's a stretch 4, but I thought maybe he would be at 38, 39% from threes, which he surprised me. He shoots over 43% from threes, which is very good. So he's a player that you can look at in a categories-based league or a points-based league because he's shooting a high percentage from the field and threes with 43% from threes, and then he's shooting 46.5% from the field, and he's playing over 26 minutes per game, which is going to go up because he is now definitely going to be starting indefinitely, in my opinion. I feel like that's the right lineup to go because you're putting your best players in a starting lineup, and then you have some guys coming off the bench who can help you out because they still do have some solid players to help them off the bench. But nonetheless, with Cam being only rostered at 56%, I feel like he's a player to pick up. I'm considering picking him up in one of my leagues in the sleeper app because he's playing very well, and I'm looking for a forward who can fill some needs that I may have in that league, and I'm definitely considering him even more so because now he's definitely going to probably go from his 26.3 minutes per game on the season to maybe 30 minutes. So with more minutes, it means more opportunity. And I know that he can produce. And also on the season, you just got to understand that he's been consistent. Okay. That is definitely a player we want. We want a player who's going to be consistent for our team. If he's consistent, that's the kind of player we want because you know that you're going to put him in your lineup and most nights he's going to produce. And there may be on a rare occasion when he's going to stink it up because everybody's capable of stinking it up. But for the most part, you don't have to worry about that with Cam because, again, he's been very consistent on the season. He averages 12.5 points per game, 4.1 rebounds. So, again, you're going to get some points, some rebounds, good percentage from the field, and an excellent percentage from threes for a stretch four. So what do? If he's available, pick him up because, again, right now, opportunity is even at an all-time high for him. He had opportunity for the season, which he has produced, which is why he's been in the rotation as much and playing as much minutes and now starting. And what does that mean? More opportunity, y'all. That's what we look for. More opportunity, more minutes, more points, more production. And that's what we need in fantasy basketball. That is the type of player you want to add to your team. So again, if Cam Johnson is available, go on and pick him up. All right. And again, I don't really trust the Holiday Payton situation. But again, if you had to choose between those two guys, if you were just desperate, then you would go with Holiday because apparently Payton didn't even play Sunday and Holiday has played a bit better. And again, if you check out my previous episode, there are players that I recommended early on for week 20 who will be able to help you, like Nito from the Washington Wizards. I would rather trust picking him up over Holiday or Payton at this point. So again, you guys just got to be extra cautious with what you do because it is crunch time. And we trying to run up the score and win our league. So again, crunch time. So you have to make the best decision for your team because some of these decisions you make may really hurt your team. And again, we trying to win. I don't know about you guys, but we trying to win. I want y'all to win. You know, I love winning, especially if you are in a money league. I know you love winning. Let's talk about Hassan Whiteside, center/forward with the Utah Jazz. Yes, that is right. He's played very well throughout the season and throughout his career. The biggest issue with him is health. He's always injured. And with a player that is always injured, you know what? It's hard to rely on him. So he hasn't been the most reliable player due to injuries, but when he's on the court, he produces, okay? He shoots over 63% from the field. He only plays 18 minutes. And listen to the stats. Shoots over 63% from the field, plays 18 minutes, scores 8.5 points per game, almost 8 rebounds per game, and 1.5 blocks per game. Just imagine if he was playing 30 minutes per game, okay? He probably can go somewhere and start, but he's backing Rudy Gobert up. I hope I said his name right, y'all. Y'all know I hack up a name or two, but nonetheless, y'all know what I'm talking about. He's actually playing better than him right now. But with Rudy, he is just trying to get back into the flow of things. And, you know, that takes some time when you've been out for a while. But let's look at what Hassan has done the last few games. 2 points, not a lot, but he still got his 8 rebounds. With him, if nothing else, if you need a player in a categories-based league, simply to get you rebounds. If you are struggling with your rebounds and you don't have any options because say all the guys on your team, your power forwards and centers, they just stinking it up with the rebounds, he's definitely going to rebound the ball. It does not matter if he's scoring the ball. He's going to get you at least 8 rebounds if you look at it. 8, 14, 8, 17, 18. This is when Rudy was out. He was really going off. 9 points, 17 rebounds, 15 points, 18 rebounds. Okay, so again, if nothing else, he will still get the rebounds. I actually used him in a prize pick, and he hit for me. So I took a chance. I normally try to be conservative. I'm like, let me do $10. I did 20. 40. He was one of the players who hit, so I won the 40, and he got me what I needed in my rebounds. So I took the over with him with rebounds because I already knew that he's very consistent when it comes to his rebounds. So why not stick with a player that you know is going to produce for you? And again, if you looking to play the DFS on whether that is FanDuel or DraftKings, and you're looking for a center that's going to not, it's going to cost you not a lot of money, and he's going to score the ball and rebound the ball for you on most nights, then he's definitely a nice low key ad, which is not going to cost you a lot, and then you can load up and build at your guard and forward spot with your top players, because you know those salaries are going to cost you a lot. And even in Prize Pick, he's definitely a player you can take a chance on when it comes to rebounds, because you already know that he's most likely going to hit. And with him, I always take the over with him because I already know that on most nights he's going to get me my rebounds. You know, if he's supposed to get 6, or if they project him to get 6, and you say you're going with the over, he then got 8, 14, 8. He rebounds the ball. If nothing else, Hassan Whiteside is going to rebound the ball for you. And that is definitely something you can use in the categories-based league. And again, keep in mind, he's only rostered in 42% of leagues, which means he's still available out here in these streets. He ain't available in none of my leagues, which pisses me off because I always look for him when I'm thinking about a center I may need to help my team. I'm always looking for him. And it's hard to find a center because pretty much all of those centers are gone. I'm in mainly deep leagues. I don't know about you guys, but when the leagues are deep, it is hard to find players on the waiver wire street, y'all. I am telling you. But nonetheless, if he's available in your league, he's definitely a player you should and you must pick up, because he is going to produce, if nothing else, in a categories-based league. If you are simply looking for those rebounds, he's got you. Trust me, y'all. Trust and believe. Let's talk about Tre Mann. He's a player I've talked about previously. Twice I've talked about him, and at one point he was getting the minutes, and this was pre-All-Star break, and then he kind of fell off slightly a little bit, but now he is back, and he's been playing very well over the last 4 games. He is rostered in 17% of leagues. He's going to have value as long as Dort is out. Giddey kind of missed some time too, so if Dort is going to still be out, Mann should definitely see an opportunity. And also, if Giddey, say, misses any more time, then he's going to see that opportunity as well. And he has played very well the last 4 games. Let's take a look at his stats just to see exactly what he's been doing, because he's been putting in some work, y'all. And this is definitely the kind of low-key player you can use in a DFS. I used him in DFS. I want to say it was either Friday or Saturday. No, it may have been Thursday. And I used him, and he played very well for me. And I was happy. I was doing a little shake. I'm like, damn, I hit big time with him. And I was pleased. And I also picked him up in one of my redraft leagues, probably last Wednesday. And he's produced. He's played very well over the last 4 games. So again, when you look at his stats over the last 4 games, let's go back to the 16, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 30 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 22, 4, 5, 2, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals. Again, one thing I like to look at with him is he definitely is active and stealing the ball. So you do know that he's not only going to just score the ball. He did have 1 game where he didn't score too much with 11, which is still bad because he was doing other things. He rebounded the ball. He got you some assists and still. So he's a player who's going to do more than just score the ball, which is what we love in fantasy, because that's going to get us the points we need in a points-based league. And that's also going to help our team in a categories-based league for a player who is going to get you steals. He's going to get you assists and rebounds. I will tell you this, he ain't lighting it up from the field, so don't expect him to shoot a high percentage from the field. Don't look for that. So if you feel like that's something that's going to be a deal breaker in a categories-based league, then strictly look for him in a points-based league. Let's talk about Matisse Thibault. Ooh, y'all to pronounce that name. Somebody challenging me tonight with all these damn names, but nonetheless, Matisse Thibault has been uh up and down. He's been very inconsistent this season, but it looks like he's starting to play more. I like the fact that they've gone with the lineup of him, Harden, obviously Harris, and B and Maxi, and that's a really good lineup. I'll tell you one thing: he's not going to shoot a great percentage from threes. He hasn't. He's only shooting 28% from three. So let's just hope he don't shoot the three and just leave it at that. But he shoots over 49% from the field, which is very good. He's rostered in over 36% of leagues, and he gets you between 17, 18 fantasy points on the season if he's gonna start, which I think he should be starting. Danny Green hasn't played well in who the hell knows? I can't even tell you when the last time he's played very well consistently, and he shouldn't be getting the minutes. We have this young player who can play great defense as well and do a lot of other things on the court, and he's playing better, so he should be the one to start. So hopefully this is a smart move, and they're moving in the right direction. This is a new thing that they're going to be doing, and they're going to be going with this young man. And if they do, you can expect that he will produce, because he has produced when given the opportunity, but it's been very inconsistent because hell, the role is inconsistent. It's hard to get consistency out of a player when their minutes and everything is inconsistent, including their role. So against the Knicks, played very well. 28 minutes, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. A lot of things with him is what I realized. He is gonna be a stat stuffer. It's not gonna be high end. It's gonna be low end. Like you see, 8.6 rebounds, a few assists, a few steals. He's gonna do a little bit of everything, which is going to add up to the points that we need anyway in a points-based league. So again, you see the last 2 games, 28 minutes. You see 23 minutes. So he's playing more. He started today, and we're hoping that this is a smart move and a long-term move going forward for the remainder of the season for the Sixers. But again, you guys know how the Sixers do. Doc, he loves Danny Green. He just hasn't letting that go, and he has to let it go because this is the right move. Playing him is just very good. Let him start. You're gonna get the defense, if nothing else, and other things, rebounds, steals. Again, what we just looked at with him. Let's talk about O'Shea Brissett. Y'all, I'm working it out here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm working it with these names. Y'all got to give me 2 points for Waiver Wire Queen for getting the names. I'm working it tonight, y'all. But again, this young man has been playing very well for the Pacers. And he's a player you have to check for. He can play the guard, small forward, power forward, put it on the platform. Yahoo, it's only going to be the small forward, power forward, so pretty much the forward spot. And then on the sleeper app, which we're looking at right now, he's playing the guard and the forward spot, which is very good because you have more usage for him. You can use him in multiple positions, which is very good as well. He's rostered in 48% of leagues. He's averaged 15 to 16 fantasy points in a season. That has increased over the last 5 games. So let's say he's played very well out of the last 5 out of 7 games. So 5 of those 7 games he has played very, very well. The last week, 10 points, 15 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals. I mean, damn, 15 rebounds is insane, but he's doing the damn thing. I'm telling you, when you find a low-key player like this who can help your team, you just pick him up and you play him. Let's look at his stats over the last few games. We'll look at that. Look at the minutes. 33, 37, 27, 29, 29, 38, 36. He's playing very well. Look, 10 points, 15 rebounds, 27 and 6. 17 and 6. So he has played very well, and he played very well against OKC with the 10 points and 15 rebounds. So yes, over the last few games, I'll say not few games, the last several games, he has played very well and should be a player that you're checking for. He's rostered under 50%, which means there is a high probability you'll be able to pick him up. And if you can do so, you go on and do so. And that's what you have to do. You look for players who are going to give you great value, whether that is redraft, dynasty, or in DFS. And he's definitely another player who should have some value to you in a DFS league because his salary is not going to be as high. I like to look for players I can build around some of my high salary players, because you're going to have to find players like that, because let's be real, most of the time some of these high end players, the top dogs, are going to cost you a lot in DFS. And so you may have to find a player like Brissett, Thibault, some of those guys to fill out your roster. And if you pick the right player on any given night, you're gonna win. Let's talk about Darius Bazley. Yes, he has been stepping it up a bit. The last a few games kind of off, but he's back again, playing very well for OKC. Do not rely on him for shooting. If you're looking for shooting, he is not going to do that. Rostered at 46% of leagues. He averages between 23 and 24 fantasy points on the season, which is very, very good. And when I think about Darius Bazley, I think of a player who's going to score the ball and he's going to rebound the ball. And he's a high volume shooter because, again, his shooting percentages are really not that great. So if you looking for some shooting and you want the percentages to be high, he's not a player you would want to look at. But if you're in a points-based league and you're just looking for a player to get you the points, he averages 9.8 points on the season, 6.6 rebounds, 1 block. He's going to get you the points, and he plays over 37 minutes per game. So he's going to get you what you need. The thing is, his shooting percentages are not that great. So in a categories-based league, bets believe he's going to hurt your shooting percentages from 3 and from the field, because his percentages are really poor, I'll tell you guys. But let's look at what he's been doing. So yeah, on the 24th, hurt me. I had him in my lineup. He hurt the hell out of me. And if you use sleeper, you pick that game and that's the game. And he didn't have a good game for me on the 24th, but look what he's been doing over the last several games. Look on the 25th, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Okay. But you look over here with his shooting percentage, 6 for 16, 8 for 17. The shooting percentages are really bad. When you look all the way down here, 7 for 21. Not a great shooter, but again, when you're in a points-based league, unless they're penalizing you for field goal attempts and things like that, which most leagues don't, then you don't have to worry about his shooting percentage. Look at that, 23 and 8. This was a bad game. Okay, 1 for 6. Like, that's not being aggressive enough for me. Never should it be a situation where he's only taking 6 attempts. But hell, since he ain't shooting that great from the field on the season, that's probably why they like, let's shoot the ball too much. But nonetheless, if you look down here, he is capable of scoring the ball, but it's not going to be, he's going to be inefficient doing so. He's not an efficient shooter. So if you're looking for a player who can shoot the ball very well, then he's not that guy that you should be checking for. And then you can look for someone else. And there are several players that I talked about in previous episode, part 1 of part 2, week 20 waiver wires, that you can consider who have better shooting percentages than Darius Bazley. But again, with Darius Bazley, I do love the fact that he's going to score the ball and he's going to rebound the ball, which I love. And then he averages 1.1 blocks per game too. Let's talk about Gallinari. That's my boy. That's one of my faves. Always been one of my faves. He is seeing an increase in minutes because John Collins is out. John Collins has missed the last 5 games with a sprained foot. So who do they go to? They go to Gallinari, and he is producing. Again, with Gallinari, he's been very inconsistent this season. But part of that is with so many players who play the same position on the Hawks, and then, you're not starting over Collins or Capella. So, and now he's getting an opportunity to start on the season. He averages between 18 and 19 fantasy points with an increase in minutes and an expanded role as long as Collins is out. Most nights he should be good for you, but there may be that one night where it's like, which is why I say inconsistent, but should be able to help your team as long as Collins is out. So he's a player that you definitely should look for. And again, rostered in 19% of leagues, which means he is available out here in these fantasy basketball streets on waivers. So if you can pick him up, You know what you got to do, because guess what? He's going to be able to help you, y'all. I'm telling you, he's going to help you, because it doesn't sound like Collins is coming back right now. So again, and if you have Collins and you don't have any other options, then Gallinari is definitely a player you should consider. He averages 23.8 minutes per game on the season, 10.7 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, and he shoots over 39% from threes, which is definitely a great thing. We like players who can shoot the damn ball, okay? And he can shoot the three, so that means he's a player that you can trust in a categories-based league. He's definitely going to help your team. Let's see what he's been doing over the last few games since he's been given opportunity. He's definitely stepped it up a notch. And again, with Gallinari, just remember there may be some moments where it's a bit inconsistent, but it is what it is. So against my Chicago Bulls, we won that game. I'll add he scored 26 points and 9 rebounds. Okay, but then look at what he did against Toronto. So it's like hit or miss sometimes. So if you played him against the Bulls, very, very good game. But then look what he followed it up with, 3 and 5, and he played 30 minutes. But he had an off night, one from 9 from the field and one for 6 from threes, which you most likely will only have 3-point shooting like that. But then the 25 points. So again, keep in mind with Gallinari, it's going to be inconsistent, but he definitely is still a player who can help your team in the short term. This is not a long-term solution. This is definitely short-term, and I don't want you to, look at him as a long-term solution, because it's simply not. Now, let's talk about some players that you should keep an eye out for. Not saying run out and grab them, but definitely look and keep an eye out for these players. Keep on watching what they do. Immanuel Quickley, he played very well against Philly today. Played 26 minutes. My thing with Quickley is his value goes as Thibodeau goes. If Tibbs don't get out of his own way, then this is why with Quickley you'll see him play 17 minutes, 26 minutes, all over the place, which is going to mean he's going to be inconsistent, because it's like, damn, let the young kid play. He played very well, and he plays good defense. So I don't know what the hell's going on with Tibbs. With Tibbs, if you don't play good defense, you don't play. Hell, if you're he doesn't really like developing young players, so you don't play. So you're thinking like, well, which is it? He's played great defense, so why not play him? But on the other hand, he's a young player. But nonetheless, there are a lot of young players on the Knicks. Okay, and Burks did not play very well today. Okay, so Quickley is a player that I want Tibbs to start giving more of an opportunity. Last episode, I talked about Derrick Rose being a player you should consider adding, because he's almost there. He's close to coming back. And Tibbs is obviously a big fan of Derrick Rose, and he's going to give the nod to Derrick Rose over a young player like Quickley, who's got more potential right now in a fantasy world. Derrick Rose, you got to realize, is coming back from a major ankle surgery, and the Knicks ain't going to the playoffs. So why is this even a conversation? Let the young guy play. If he continues to see the minutes 26, then he's a player you can look at, because when you look at him, play 20 minutes, 18 points, he just needs consistency. And if he's getting the minutes, I think he can be a player that can do some things for your team. But it's a Tibbs world, y'all. It's a Tibbs world. And with Tibbs, you already know how that can go. So let's talk about Talen Horton-Tucker. He has been playing very, very well over the last few games for the Lakers. And this is going back to February 3rd, I believe. So he didn't get traded. So it's a stress reliever. Let's relieve the stress. Woo! Breath of fresh air. You didn't get traded. Trade deadline pass. He can play the guard or the forward spot. He's seeing some more minutes, and he's producing. So when you play well, you get in a damn game and get more minutes. So on the 25th, he had 16 points, 3 rebounds. The 16th and the 8th was kind of funky for him. But again, he's doing multiple things. He had 4 blocks one game, and he's getting some assists. So if not, there's maybe nights where he's not going to score the ball, but you do know that he's going to rebound the ball. He's going to get you some steals, some assists, which still may get you the points you need. As long as we start seeing him play better and the minutes are there and he's a stat stuffer, then he's a player you should keep an eye on. Again, I don't say just run and grab him, but he has been playing much better as of late. So he's definitely a player you should keep an eye out for. And one of my favorites, because he's a bull now, Tristan Thompson, y'all. That's what I'm talking about, Tristan Thompson. I know it's a crazy one, but keep an eye out for Tristan Thompson. 3 games with the Bulls. He's played really good in 2 of those games, and you can see for yourself. When you think of the Bulls, you know you have your big 3, and then you add Lonzo, and then you have some really good young role players at the guard spot. But when you look at the front court situation, it's very scarce and it's bare. And Tristan Thompson is a player who's going to score and rebound the ball. And he's one of those players like when I talked about, what is his name? When I talked about Hassan Whiteside, with Hassan Whiteside, I said, he's playing 18 minutes per game, but he's productive in that time. He's producing. That is the type of production you'll get out of Tristan Thompson. If he plays 15 minutes, he's still going to be productive. So look at 14 minutes, going back 9 points, 5 rebounds. And then on the 26th, he only played 16 minutes, but he got 5 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal. He didn't take many shots, only 4. But again, with him, you look at him, 13 minutes, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. So it may be hit and miss with him, but he may be a player that may help you in the short term. And I mean, he may be able to help you one game when you don't have any other forwards or centers. And you're like, well, I have to take a chance on Tristan Thompson. If he plays 20 minutes, maybe he's going to get me what I need. When you look back to the 16th, he played 20 minutes, 17 points, 6 rebounds. He had more of an opportunity from field with 9 attempts. But again, with him, he can be a player that can help your team going forward. It just depends on the situation. And again, don't run out and just add these guys. These are guys that you can keep an eye out for and then make the decision based on what they're doing. And again, it may just be short term, meaning 1 start or just for a week or 1 game in DFS, one day in DFS. All right, y'all, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also check out previous episode, because I have 9 to 10 other players you definitely should consider adding week 20 and going forward. Make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed the episode, and also leave some comments about some players you're considering adding or any questions you may have on fantasy basketball. Also, if you listen to the podcast and want to listen to the podcast on other platforms, we are on Spotify, Apple, and Google. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.